Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Brett McCollum, and I'm here today with Eric Mabie. And today we're going to be talking about how he went from bankruptcy to a full portfolio. Guys, you're not going to miss this one. But before we do, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs to 2 to 5x their businesses to allow them to build the business that they've always wanted and to live the lives they've always dreamed of. Without further ado, Eric, how are you, man?
Good, buddy. Thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to be here with you, man. Like, definitely cool catching up, getting to know you a bit before the show here. I'm genuinely, people get tired of me saying this, Eric, but I am genuinely excited to talk with you, man, and go deep on some stuff here. But before we get into all the things, let's give some background, some history, catch us up to speed. Who's Eric Mabie?
Sure. So what I feel I was born to do on this earth in this lifetime is I've been a holistic health coach since 1996.
Wow.
And I literally started studying and writing my own programs in 1990. At around 11, 12 years old, I started literally studying and writing my own programs. By the time I was in high school, people started asking me to design programs for them. And then within 1 year, within the same year that I graduated high school, I started getting paid for that. Fast forward just a couple of years, I had a pretty decent health coaching practice, but the way that a lot of people worked, especially until my book was full, was I saw clients in the morning, I saw clients after work. Mm-hmm. And so there I was, 19, 20 years old with like 6, 7, 8 hours in the middle of the day to kill.
Yeah.
And someone gave me, as you referenced, the Purple Bible, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
That's it.
And that was the year, probably 1999, because I bought my first rental property in 2000 at 20 or 21 years of age. And so that book changed the way that I saw money. It changed the way that I saw wealth. And so I began my journey in real estate, like I said, with one rental. And then I started flipping homes. And that went okay. And again, now we're going into 2003, 4, 5. And then by the time I got into the 2005 era, the Florida real estate market and probably the economy as a whole was just exploding.
Yeah.
So I was making so much money that I couldn't possibly, at my age, see how could this go wrong. Mm-hmm. And I over leveraged on the flips. I got caught holding the bag. And by 2013, I had to file for bankruptcy. At this time, we can add to the fact that I now had 2 children and lots and lots and lots of responsibilities. So 2013, filed bankruptcy, learned a lot in the process. And I knew that there was a better way. I just didn't know what that way was. So I started seeking mentors who were at the 100 million plus level of real estate They were in the developer level of hotels, casino, like big players. And I'm like, what do I need to do? And so they started advising me on books to read, things to learn.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And basically gave me all the things I needed to study to learn how to underwrite risk and cash flow.
Yeah.
And that was it. And now the get rich quick mentality of my early mid 20s was gone. And I realized that I needed to put my big boy pants on and learn how to be a patient, seasoned investor in real estate and not base anything on emotion. It is simply math.
Yeah.
I use as little speculation as possible. And it's mostly just the patience and the diligence of the underwriting process that I go about. And so with that knowledge, after 2013, I was able to, of course, we all know you can buy real estate without credit. So I started getting, borrowing hard money, going back into the game, and saw the opportunity was there. And from 2014 to 2020, I was able to build a 8-figure real estate portfolio for myself in a matter of about 6 years.
Wow.
All while working here so that's part-time. Just as a point of reference, I see about 50 clients a week at my clinic. So all of that was working, 10 to 12 hours a week at most.
Wow.
But again, I started studying and learning many years. It's a game. It's a patience. You gotta invest the time to learn and grow, and then strike when you can strike. And then, as we all know, with the interest rates and the escalating inflation prices, the last 2 years, let me back up one little bit. And then my clients at my health coaching practice are all very affluent business owners, and they saw like my lifestyle change substantially overnight. And they were like, how in the hell are you doing what you're doing? Mm-hmm. And they started giving me their money to invest for them. So I became a syndicate for my clients. And so I started either partnering with them or just doing the deal 100% for them and just taking a fee. So I started an advisory firm after my portfolio basically settled into where, okay, I've done substantial amount of work I need to for myself. Now let's go help other people. So that's where I started the advisory company. And then the last 2 years have been just patience, looking, bought an apartment building, multifamily last year on Valentine's Day.
Wow.
And then just hammering away at stacking cash until there's another opportunity. I've underwritten a half a dozen properties or so and just can't make them go. Because the pro forma doesn't mean anything right now to me. So if it doesn't perform today, I'm not going to buy something at a pro forma price tomorrow.
Got it.
Because the debt's too expensive. And in all fairness, everything we've done in the last year has been cash anyway. So yeah. So that's it, man. So right now it's just keep learning, be patient, keep looking at stuff, stay up to date on the market, the pulse of the market that I buy in, and just keep conversations going. I love this. I love meeting people like yourself that are, making waves in the game, because we can never, ever know enough people or enough information.
Yeah. Well, that's the show, guys. Let's stop it here.
All right.
Okay. Oh man, we have a lot to unpack. Let's do this. Let's try to back up a little bit, because I think there's so many points that you made throughout that really we could have just. I want to let you flow through that a little bit. Okay. But man, let's go rewind back. You mentioned at 11 and 12 years old,
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
creating programs and doing things. So mentally at that, so for perspective for me, my oldest is 11 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm trying to picture him like doing that. And that's not his personality. Okay. So what was that like, cause I mean, that didn't quit, cause obviously at a young age, you started, buying real estate even, as a, tweenager, and then coming into the teenage years.
Yeah.
Did it just get stronger and develop more for you, or like what was that like back then? If you could.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's always been, as you and I talked, I have 2 kids. You have 4 kids. God bless you. There's always that thing of nature and nurture, and there's 2 components of my way of being. Part of it is the nature of who I was. It's just I've always been focused on improving. On anything. It doesn't matter. Like I was introduced to spelling classes and I was like, all right, well, let's see. So I started reading the dictionary just to see if I could figure out how many words I could spell.
Yeah.
Just a game. And then when I started wrestling in high school and you learn how to endure discomfort at a pretty high level, now you're very comfortable being uncomfortable.
Right.
And the combination of that just general curiosity to learn and okay to be really, really uncomfortable for a long period of time. I'm never afraid to fail. I've lost millions of dollars. As you know, I went bankrupt. I've started multiple companies. Some of them were great. Some of them flopped. And none of it really means anything. It's all just exploring an interest, learning about it. And then when that chapter of my life is over, it's over and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. So, all right. So now you're, let's say 18, 19, whatever it was, you read the Purple Bible, as we said, Rich Dad Poor Dad, guys, if you're not sure what I mean by that again. Literally, I feel like it's like ask every real estate investor where they got their start. It's one of a couple things, and it's usually Rich Dad Poor Dad. Do you remember what it was like buying your first property? That's been a long time ago, and probably hundreds of deals.
Yeah. I actually remember my second property because my second property is when I learned the tax law that your primary residence, you live in it for 2 years and then you can sell it before the 5th and it's a tax-free gain. That's the greatest tax gift in the American IRS code is the homestead 2-year, that whole thing. And so my next property, I had learned that. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm moving into this one. I rented a room out to a friend. And I'm like, 2 years, stacking cash. I'm going to buy my next home, live in that for 2 years. I got to do that game 3 times.
Wow.
And literally just paid, got my rent paid for by my roommate. Watched that sucker appreciate.
Yep.
Rented it for 3 years after I moved out and sold it for a tax-free profit. It was insane. And at the age when you don't have kids or a wife and the moving is easy, it was a dream. So knowing that was my long-term plan, when I bought my second house, it was at a condo, I was like charged with adrenaline. I'm like, oh man, because like learning and putting your learning into actual play and seeing it work is like, it's a dream come true.
Yeah.
So that one has a lot more emotional juice behind it.
Yeah. Well, the reason I had asked that is there's typically two different, and I think I knew what you were going to say anyway,
Mhm.
but there's typically two ideas. Like the person, it's their first one, or, you're still scared to do it, but like, I'm going to try it, like, oh my gosh, what happens if I commit to this,
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
$200,000, whatever it is, amount of money, then it doesn't work. Like, you're scared, or it's we're doing it, and it, no matter what, kind of thing. I think it's the classic nature of an entrepreneur to be, we're going to take the bull by the horns and we're going to do it,
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that kind of leads us into kind of moving forward. You start flipping a bunch of houses and doing all that. I think I liken in my studying of markets to a lot of what happened when rates dropped down here in Florida. Anyway, I can't speak across the board. We're both in Florida. We just found out, guys, that we're not too far from each other.
Yeah. You're not
about 2 hours away.
Yeah.
So we're going to be best friends before he doesn't even know it, but we are going to be best friends. But I think when rates went down to like, that 3% quote unquote level, right? I think a lot of us here started buying. Because it's free money, more or less. It's like, oh my gosh, you're going to give me this money? Of course I'm going to do this and flip a lot more houses and take on all this. And then that was happening a lot here, and that seems to be what you went through it personally. Seems to be very similar, maybe not quite that 3% rate, but still like volume was still transacting like that in that 5, 6, maybe early 2007 range. Is that kind of, they're not too dissimilar, right?
The interest rate thing is post recession. It was the inflated artificial market was what caused the recession. Mm-hmm. So what happened with us is that it wasn't that the interest rates were good; it's that the appreciation was so fast that you never ever had to make a mortgage payment because you had the property sold to the next buyer for $50 to $100K more than you paid for it before you even had to make a mortgage payment.
Yeah. It was like a cheat code, and we were saying, dude, we had stuff here that was like you couldn't even put the sign in the ground and it was sold.
Correct. Yeah.
And I hear a lot of people like it felt a lot like that. Different, but like there's some similar, like the way that the market like my gosh, you think about what happened with the inflation rate. Oh, not inflation. Let me rephrase that. My personal home doubled in value.
Yep.
In 4 years.
Correct. And we have the great privilege of being in the freest state in the world through COVID, which is what did that. So not putting the stake in the ground and still getting the sale, that was the COVID rush era. So rates were still low. The difference in what was happening, that we were getting the same escalation of price, but the conditions were different. Everything pre-recession was all leveraged money, and everything COVID rush was cash. It was all heavy. A lot of them, because we were the investors outbidding all of the residential homeowners. We were given $20K over asking price, paying cash.
Because we knew you could.
Because we knew we could. Because then we would just refinance out at 3%.
Yep. Well, let's watch this correlation too, because I don't think a lot of people are talking about it now, and I think they will in 10 years. By the way, right? Whereas the way it was the Great Recession and it was just this big, I don't think we want to scream that from the rooftops as much today as we did back then. What's interesting is roughly here in Gainesville anyway, Tampa too, got hit pretty good recently. Call it end of, I don't know, for me, Gainesville's a little more insulated even than Tampa, but third quarter of 2023.
Oh, yeah.
Things went weird. Mm-hmm. And we had properties that would list in, you remember, not like not even a year before that, a few months before that even. I mean, literally a few months before that, you
Yep.
could not get a for sale sign in the ground fast
Yep.
enough and it was still
Yep.
selling immediately.
Correct.
Rates hadn't quite done what they were doing yet. So there was threats, but nothing really happened. And we kept meeting and what's Powell going to do? And blah, blah, blah. All the things are happening. And then it felt like overnight rates went from 4, 3.5, 4 to 7, 7.5,
Yep.
8.
Yep.
And so we had properties sit for
Yep.
7, 8, 9 months without offers on them.
Yep. Which, for a quick history lesson, because I looked at this actually in the 2014, 2015 area, because I had a couple houses on adjustable rates. So I looked at historical interest rate escalation.
Yep.
And even though they were at 15% and 18% in the 80s or whenever that was, the escalation of rate had
That's
never
right.
gone up that high, that fast in the history of interest rates, period.
Correct.
So there is no underwriting protection you can plan for if it has never happened in the history of interest rates.
Yes. That's the scary part about real estate, right? It's like you can plan
Yeah.
and still but that's why it's a risk at the end of the day. Now, that being said, I want to kind of go back into that. All right. Fast forward, you've looking at all these homes and then you're now over leveraged. And now this, we talked, before the show a little bit on that. Like what happened there?
Yeah. So what happens in flipping, you've got your leverage, but so flipping is gambling because you need the market to do something in your favor. It's like if I'm at the roulette table and they spin that sucker and I need it to land on black, well, I need the condition to make me money.
Yeah.
Rather than, we all know the expression that you make money in real estate when you buy the deal. And so I needed to make my money on the flip. And that is not investing, that's gambling. And so what happened is I was over leveraged. Nothing could sell for what I had gone to contract on it for. So I was buying new construction. I was doing regular flips. So, let's say one of the new construction properties, and I had dozens because I do my best to scale everything. So I started with one, then I did 2 at a time and 3 at a time. And then I was under contract at the end. I was under contract on 12 new construction properties.
Mm-hmm.
I had little down payments on all of them. They don't allow that anymore. But then when the mortgage came, it was $300,000 mortgage on all of them, but the home was worth $180,000. So now I got to try to rent it. And again, the difference of hindsight is that I tried to preserve my credit and I ended up bleeding out and destroying my credit anyways. I should have just filed bankruptcy and kept all my cash. Because I had made almost $1 million. Literally, I was one deal away from being a millionaire at 27 years old, liquid millionaire at 27 years old. And I tried to carry the debt. And I ended up bleeding out anyways and filed for bankruptcy and ruined my credit anyways. Wow. So that's really what happens. I got stuck holding the bag and no rent could cover the mortgage at that time. Mm-hmm. So I just bled out.
You just bled out, yeah. And you mentioned I don't know if you said it pre-show or during the intro there. Mm-hmm. And you had kids at the time, yeah?
So my first son was born in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And then my second son was born in 2014.
Yeah. Like how does what does that look like?
Yeah. So that was the hardest time of my life, bar none. Mm-hmm. My wife at the time was a stay-at-home mom. I worked in my wellness company. I was working, I got here at 4:50 a.m. I worked till 8, 9 p.m. I saw as many clients as I could to just try. Again, that's why I love real estate. You can't make enough money working that real estate can produce in wealth. Mm-hmm. Real estate can produce so much wealth so fast, or the inverse, right? And so it was I call it the dark ages of my life because, I was sleeping 4 to 6 hours a night if I was lucky. I was just out of my mind. And what we said earlier before the show was through the hardship, I had to learn how to find peace within myself amidst the storm. And so that's when I really started doing a lot of personal development, soul searching, and learning how to really be okay, not being okay.
Yeah.
And so who I became as a human being through that, I don't regret any of it. I wouldn't change any of it. I wouldn't take any of it back, because each one's a step to the next best version of you.
Yeah.
And sometimes the steps are really big and they take a really long time.
Yeah. I was going to say, how long do you think that process was for you of like, navigating and and learning and grow? Like, cause it's never all right, I did it. Now next day it's all good. How long?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's multiple personal aspects that were the absolute dark ages were probably 4 years to 5 years long.
Wow.
But the bleed out was 7 years. So like some of these timelines overlap. Like I bled out for 7 years, then I was bankrupt, still in the dark ages, and coming out. But then I had to actually lie to my wife to go back. And I'm like, but once I figured it out, I knew how to make money again. I had to go borrow money from a family member to do my first deal again. And I had my wife didn't want me to do that. And I was like, I know. So I went behind her back at the time. I went and did the deal, got our first check. And she's like, where'd this money come from? And I'm like, that deal you said I shouldn't do? I'm like, I did it and it worked. And we're going to cash flow. It was $200 a month at the time. That was our first deal back in the game. It's $200 a month positive cash flow. And just as a point of reference, real estate's about time. So that was, let's say 2015. So here we are 10 years later. That same house now is $2,000 a month positive cash flow.
Wow. And you still have it. Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I think people don't think a lot about, and I think with a lot of your practice, you'll recognize this, and what you do with some of the life coach stuff is it's just a season, is what we tell ourselves sometimes. And it is in the macro aspect, it is just a season.
Yep.
Sometimes they're 4 and 5 years long.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
Like, and we want to get through it faster. Nobody wants to live in the dark ages forever. Right.
Yep.
And it must have felt like at some point, like, this is never going to change. Did you ever walk through any of those battles where you're like, this is never going to change?
No, I'm not wired to say never.
Love that.
I never say never. I never give up, ever, ever, ever. I'll close a chapter, but it's not because of quitting.
Love that.
It's because the chapter is over in my life. But no, I don't. That's not it.
How do you stay resilient in that? That's perfect segue. That's what I was going to, I'm glad you said it just like that. How do you stay resilient in the darkest moments of your life? You've got a wife, 2 kids, bankruptcy going on. It's the worst.
Reading and learning. Because there are people throughout history who have written books or have books written about them. Man's Search for Meaning is one of the most famous. Okay. It's a Holocaust survivor book. My dark age ain't shit compared to his dark age.
Yep.
I'm okay in my suburban home in Florida. All right. I'm not Auschwitz.
Yeah.
So I learn, I read, I learn from people who are either way above me or have suffered way more than me.
Love that.
And I gain inspiration of their story and their journey. And if he can survive Auschwitz and then heal himself internally and then help heal other survivors, I got this. I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a coach. I've been a coach for my whole life. I hire coaches in everything I want to do. I either hire coaches or I buy books.
Yeah.
Because someone else has already done what it is that I need to do next.
Yeah, that's facts. This is nothing new under the book. And for you in that aspect of like going through that, it's like, do we think other people haven't been there and done what you've
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
That's really great. And I love that outlook of the resilient mind, because it is so easy to, I made it and lost it, to then go to then the next thing in your head of, well, I lost it. I'm not good enough to have this.
Mm-hmm.
I lost it.
Yep.
Yeah. But I love that resilient mind, that's really good. I played sports my whole life growing up, right?
Yeah.
Through college, played post college for a little while. And I was a pitcher, but thank God I was a pitcher, because I think as a hitter, it's so much harder to hit, because
Yeah.
a good batting average,
It's 300. It's failing 70%.
70% failure.
Exactly.
And you can go 0 for 4, 0 for whatever it is, for 3, 4, 5 games in a row.
Yeah.
And you have to get up there every single at bat with that I'm locked in. And that resilient mind, the short mind, we call it in sports for having a short mind, right?
Yep.
Like having a short mind of like the next at bat, I'm still can get up there and do it because I've done it before. I can keep doing it.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm in a slump. That's what you call it in baseball. Like they might be in a slump, and as a pitcher, I would really mentally wreck them on that. But like as a hitter, like you can't live in that. You got to think of that resilient mind. So I love that you said that, man, because that's where I go mentally. If like, yeah, it's a slump.
Yep.
It is. The best, for me, baseball, the very best hitters of all time went through slumps.
Yep.
And they're still in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and probably made many, many millions of dollars. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm glad you said that, because I really want to spend some time talking about like, how to navigate, because there's so many people right now, like, no, it's not the same 2008 levels, but there's so many investors that I talk to, that I work with and things like that are going through just the most unimaginable difficulty,
Mm-hmm.
and I want you guys, if you're listening to this, to rewind back and listen to Eric's resiliency and how he speaks, because you can let that get down into your spirit, like into your core, not just it really needs to become you of, I am not my circumstance, and I'm speaking from experience with that. Like, you are not your experience. That's not who you are. But man, I'm glad you shared that with us, man. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I like to give everybody kind of an opportunity to if people want to connect with you, get to know you more, follow along the path, like you're a coach, that sort of thing. Like, what's the best way for that to happen?
So I have Facebook, Instagram, Eric Mabie. So all of the stuff people see about me online is all in the health coaching space.
Yeah.
It's when we connect more in a one-on-one space where I can dive into the real estate side, the investing side, and things like that. So my website, ericmabie.com, that has a nice overview. And then I believe from there, all my social media stuff, my personal page on Facebook and Instagram are also just show kind of the day-to-day and tips and stuff, but it's all wellness related.
That's incredible. Guys, there are such things as no-brainers. This is one of them. Go follow Eric, go to his website, find his socials, go follow along, because man, just everything we've talked about, like, this is what success looks like, isn't it? It's climb, fall.
Yeah.
And that's the path, and you've lived it. And that's not to say you won't have more adversity in your life, right?
Oh yeah, I already have.
See,
Uh-huh.
So yeah, man, it's been great. So guys, follow along with Eric, and sometimes we need somebody to look up to when we're going through stuff. And what a great role model you are for everybody, Eric. I appreciate you.
I appreciate that very much.
Cool. Well, guys, it's been a great episode. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you guys.
All
right. Take care, everybody.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.